Today's a WRAL weather alert day, tracking rain crossing our area. I'll show you how much we've seen and when it finally moves out.
Assessing the damage. A huge fire at the Raleigh Convention Center causes $2 million in damage. How this could impact scheduled events.
And students shaken up after their school bus accident in Durham. We have an update on the search for answers in that accident and how it even was caused.
Today is WRAL Weather Alert Day. Over an inch of rain has fallen in some areas, and it is not over yet. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Renee Chu.
I'm Chris Levingood. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. You likely dealt with that rain during your morning commute. I know I did. But as for what your evening commute is looking like, let's go ahead and bring in meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner and the WRAL Severe Weather Center. Elizabeth, can we expect things to clear up soon?
Absolutely. You can see how things are already beginning to slack off just a little bit in the western part of the viewing area, even right here in Wake County. It's still pretty steady along and east of I-95, but this is going to be the back edge of the rain. We might continue to have some light patchy rain into the evening commute, but nothing like the steady rain that we saw earlier this morning. We take a look at Futurecast and you can see how the precipitation continues to slide on out of here. Here's noon, and we move through all the way, pause it there at 1 o'clock, and you can see the rain has dissipated considerably. So that'll be what we see over the next hour. And then by 3 or 4 o'clock, it looks like it's completely gone. But again, I would, at least think maybe there could be a little bit of drizzle into the evening commute. But again, we should begin to dry things out. It is chilly out there. It was in the 30s this morning with all that rain, and we're looking at temperatures in the mid 40s right now. This evening, temperatures will drop on into the 30s once we get past sunset. Tomorrow looks like a nice, bright, sunny day. We do have our tower lighting, so talk about the temperatures and conditions if you're planning to come celebrate with us.
And happening right now in the WRAL Live Center, you just heard Elizabeth talking about that rain slowly making its way out of our area. I want to show you some conditions on the roads this afternoon. I-40 at Lake Wheeler Road, you can see plenty of people on the road there, but as that rain starts to kind of dissipate and move out, the conditions will continue to improve. I have another look here in Chapel Hill. This is what it looks like. Roads definitely still wet at this hour, but again, as that rain continues to make its way out, things will get much better for drivers on the road. We're going to keep an eye on the conditions. We'll bring you the latest from the Live Center.
Michelle, thank you. New today, we've learned building inspectors will assess the damage to the Raleigh Convention Center after the building caught on fire last night. 17 people were inside at the time, but everyone made it out safely. Investigators are at the convention center right now working to learn the cause. That's where WRAL's Heidi Kirk joins us live. Heidi, it was a busy night for fire crews.
It definitely was. In fact, many of them were here actually in the overnight hours. Come ahead and take a look over this way. We've got some caution tape here that was blocking off the road, but crews have opened it just in the last few hours. And walk with me this way. You'll see across the street, that is the spot where they were saved. And of course, in front of the big convention center, an icon in this community, now having caught fire in a moment that no one will ever forget.
Y'all, the convention center is on fire.
A scene drawing eyes from all across our area. The roof of the Raleigh Convention Center erupting in flames.
This is wild.
One of the most well-known buildings in downtown, known for its shimmer wall, on fire. Smoke billowing up above the city. A spokesperson says the fire was likely caused by a natural gas incident near the mechanical platform, but the official cause is under investigation. The division chief on the scene describes the damage.
As far as we know right now, it looks like there's no damage inside the building. It was all on the rooftop. As far as the extent of damage, it's pretty extensive, but it's mainly mechanical platform.
He says it was thanks to about 50 firefighters who showed up here that it was extinguished, especially in a somewhat complicated situation after a gas line exploded, feeding the fire.
They did a really good job getting to it, isolating it. We locate it, we confine it, we extinguish it. And that's what they did, and then everybody else stood by to us get the resources in place to make that happen.
It's a scene many won't ever forget.
And as we've mentioned, there is a busy week ahead with lots of events scheduled here at the convention center all the way through the weekend. We're still working to get updates on whether those will still go on. Heidi Kirk, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
And back here in the WRAL Live Center, we recently this afternoon got an update from Raleigh Fire Chief Herbert Griffin. He said that there was minimal damage to the interior of the building. They say firefighters got to the scene 2 minutes after the call. They got there so quickly. He said he is so proud of all the firefighters that worked together to put this fire out. He said it took 25 minutes from the time of the call until they got there to get that fire out. The flames, of course, fed by natural gas, as you heard that firefighter talking about. He said the damage was contained to the roof. Take a listen to what else he had to say.
For units that were upstairs doing rooftop operations, we also had units interior also doing a primary search to make sure the fire did get any void spaces and damage the interior. So there were no interior damages from assessment we saw, only rooftop operations that conducted that show we had mainly roof damage.
And he went on to say that really from an operation standpoint, you really got to see the whole gamut of what that entire process looked like.
He says it takes a joint effort and everybody did an amazing job.
And really good to hear there is no interior damage at the Raleigh Convention Center. We are following this developing story and we will bring you updates as they become available. Meanwhile, you can listen to interviews, watch our coverage, and see how the fire impacts scheduled events. Just search Convention Center Fire.
New at noon, an update on the students who were on a Durham school bus that flipped on the way home from school. This happened yesterday afternoon near Johnson Mill Road. WRAL's Monica Casey has been following this story for quite a bit now. Monica, you just received that update not too long ago.
That's right. We knew 20 students were on that bus yesterday, and 10 of them had to go to the hospital for treatment. A Durham Public School spokesperson tells us today all of those students were expected to be back in school. North Carolina State Highway Patrol tells us the driver of that bus will be cited for failure to maintain lane control. They say the bus was traveling around a curve and ran off the road. Troopers say the driver overcorrected and the weight of the bus caused it to overturn and hit a tree before coming to a stop in the middle of the road. DPS tells us that bus was coming from Mangum Elementary School. Now, the accident is still under investigation right now, and the name of that driver has not yet been released. Live in Durham, Monica Casey, WRAL News.
Investigators are looking into how a fire started on Birdwatch Lane in Wendell, and this happened this morning. Wendell Fire Department says 3 people were at home when this fire started. A total of 4 people were displaced, and the American Red Cross is helping them. Firefighters say that a dog, 4 birds, and possibly some fish died during that fire. As for what sparked the fire, well, investigators are looking into that.
Today, the man who police say shot a 12-year-old in Johnson County is expected in court. Tyrone Washington turned himself in yesterday morning. He is facing a manslaughter charge. Clayton police responded to a fight Friday afternoon on Commodore Street. Officers found 12-year-old Kyrell Stewart in a nearby apartment with a gunshot wound. He later died from injuries. Through their investigation, police learned while trying to hide weapons from officers, a gun Washington was holding went off and hit the child. He's in jail on no bond. New this noon, we now know the name of the deputy who shot a woman he says lunged at him with a knife. Corporal Tyreek Brown responded to this home on Camden Road exactly a week ago. He ordered the woman to drop the knife, and instead she lunged at him. Corporal Brown and other deputies administered first aid. The woman is recovering in the hospital. No word yet on any charges.
New this hour, a court hearing over North Carolina Medicaid cuts has wrapped up, with state officials warning it could have, quote, catastrophic consequences. Their words. The state has dialed back what it pays for Medicaid as North Carolina faces a budget shortfall. Companies who run adult care homes sued to stop those cuts. They say their employees, as well as their low-income patients, are being harmed. But state officials say without the cuts, Medicaid will run out of money entirely by this spring. And if that happens, all 3 million North Carolinians on Medicaid could lose health care coverage. We're still waiting on a ruling from the judge. And in the meantime, you can find our full coverage online over at WRAL.com. Candidate filing continues today across our state, and a pair of Republicans are signing up to run for seats in Washington. Former Republican Party Chairman Michael Whatley signed up to run for U.S. Senate this morning. He'll face Don Brown in the party primary. Meanwhile, Republican Eric Rouse signed up to run in North Carolina's 1st congressional district. Rouse hopes to knock off Democratic incumbent Don Davis. First, he's expected to face Bobby Hanig and Sandy Roberson in the Republican primary. Candidate filing continues through December. And you can check WRAL.com for updates on that story.
The Wake County School Board is set to vote on changes to cell phone use restrictions tonight. The board is trying to comply with House Bill 959. It requires schools to have restrictions on cell phone and social media use by January 1st. The current policy requires smart features on smartwatches to be disabled and cell phones to be put away. The vote would require cell phones to be turned off and smart glasses to be disabled in the classroom. The vote is happening this evening at 5:45. WRAL will listen in and we'll let you know what's decided. Also happening today, Raleigh City Council members will meet and talk about two big topics that would affect development in the city. The first topic, a North Hills rezoning plan that could allow buildings up to 37 stories near Six Forks Road. The second, considering making the downtown Holiday Inn a historic landmark. We'll be monitoring updates and bring you any new decisions.
All right, taking a look at stocks this afternoon. Looks like the Dow Jones seeing some improvement compared to yesterday, 146 points up there. We're also taking a look at how the AI sector is doing. That kind of took a bit of a tumble over the last couple of weeks there. But for the most part, again, Dow Jones looking pretty good this afternoon. Next at noon, detained and deported during trip home. What led up to the moment a 19-year-old was taken into custody and where she is now?
Steel City Snow Show will show you more of what Pittsburgh awoke to this morning and how much more the city can expect today.
Plus, it is a WRAL weather alert day. May even be so over in Pittsburgh, right? Well, some local areas are still seeing rain here, but it'll clear out soon. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner is giving you a moment-by-moment look at when things will clear up.
Coming up next, sea storms moving in with WRAL's exclusive Dual Doppler 5000, sponsored by the WRAL Weather app. Download now for live radar.
And happening right now in the WRAL Live Center, the Goldsboro Police Department looking for a 21-year-old who has been missing for almost a month. This is who they are looking for. His name is Tresound McNeil. He's been missing for almost a month. He was last seen on November 9th at 12 a.m. on Sherrard Court in Goldsboro. He's wearing light blue jeans, white shoes, and a black hooded sweatshirt. A hotline has been established for any information leading up to where he could be. If anybody knows where he is, contact the Goldsboro Police Department.
A college freshman is fighting to return to the U.S. after being deported while trying to visit family in Texas for Thanksgiving. The 19-year-old was taken into custody by immigration officials at Boston Logan International Airport on November 20th. Her lawyer says Annie Lucia Lopez Beloza was told there was a problem with her boarding pass. Minutes later, she was placed in handcuffs and taken out of the airport. 2 days later, she was sent to Honduras, where she was born. However, her family emigrated from Honduras when she was 7.
She wasn't here illegally. She was seeking asylum, which is a legal process. They're not telling you that. She was allowed to enter with her family to apply for asylum. That's a legal process. It's protected by federal laws and various treaties our government has signed over the years.
ICE says an immigration judge ordered Lopez Beloza to be deported in 2015. The Department of Homeland Security confirmed her detainment but did not comment on the alleged court order.
The Supreme Court is reviewing a case that centers on faith-based pregnancy centers in New Jersey. However, the issue isn't about abortion care. It's a question of whether officials can subpoena records, which may violate the First Amendment. First Choice Women's Resource Centers is a nonprofit that runs crisis pregnancy centers, and the state's Democratic Attorney General subpoenaed that group 2 years ago. That was part of an investigation into consumer fraud. But First Choice says keeping subpoenas at the state level allows state officials to target specific groups they disagree with politically. Nearly half of the nation's truck driving schools may be forced to close. That's because a transportation department review found they may not be in full compliance. The DOT plans to close nearly 3,000 schools unless they comply with government requirements in the next 30 days. The department says these schools did not.
After a weekend of shopping, today is all about giving back. It is Giving Tuesday. 5 Under Size Ashley Rowe shares how you can find the charities truly making a difference.
With so many charities asking for help on Giving Tuesday, it's worth checking before you click donate. A name might sound
have been talking about it all day long. A WRAL weather alert day today. We're talking about the rain all morning and into the lunch hour, but the good news is it's beginning to kind of taper off.
Yeah, we're not the only area seeing rain, even all the way to the coast. You can see it looks really dreary out there. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner is in the WRAL Severe Weather Center with a look at a very active radar.
Yes, we have this low pressure system. It's running up the coast, that cold front shifting offshore. Behind it, we continue to stay chilly. We don't get into any of the warm air that we're seeing right along the coast. And of course, as that low moves away, it's dragging the rain along with it. So there's not a whole lot of it left across our viewing area. Now, what we'll likely end up seeing is a little bit of drizzle for a while. But I think by the time we get to 3 and 4 o'clock, even the drizzle should mostly be gone. Gradually, we'll start to clear things out overnight, and temperatures will be cold for us tomorrow morning. We'll take a live look at Apex right now, and it still looks very gray, almost foggy, some drizzle, some wet conditions. It's still pretty miserable out there, and our temperature is only 39 degrees, and here we are at 12:30. Our wind is out of the north at 6 miles per hour, so we still have a little bit of a wind chill. It feels like 32 in South Hill and 33 in Roxborough. It feels like 39 in Southern Pines, and I know you're looking at that 32, but the wind chill is completely different than the temperature. The wind chill is what it feels like to your skin. It doesn't mean that all of a sudden we're going to start to see freezing bridges up near the Virginia line. It just feels like freezing when you head out the door. Our temperatures should climb on up into the upper 40s for this afternoon, but then, as I mentioned, we'll drop quickly as our skies clear overnight tonight. We're going to be nice and dry for Wednesday and Thursday, but we're going to take a closer look at the system approaching for Friday and Saturday coming up.
Elizabeth, thanks. For the first time, the Trump administration has confirmed the U.S. military struck an alleged drug boat more than once off the coast of Venezuela. But it says Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth did not make that order. This comes as Congress ramps up pressure on the White House over the incident. Here's NBC's Gabe Gutierrez.
This morning, the Trump administration doubling down on the decision to strike an alleged drug boat near Venezuela in early September twice. NBC News reporting that second strike was ordered after the first failed to kill everyone on board, according to a U.S. official and a source familiar with the Pentagon's actions. Some lawmakers now raising legal concerns if the second strike targeted survivors, with questions growing about Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth's role.
Does the administration deny that that second strike happened, or did it happen and the administration denies that Secretary Hegseth gave the order?
The latter is true, Abe. Secretary Hegseth authorized Admiral Bradley to conduct these kinetic strikes. Admiral Bradley worked well within his authority and the law.
Admiral Frank Bradley is overseeing the growing U.S. military buildup in the region, which the administration says is targeting drug traffickers. Lawmakers on both sides now calling for more information.
And we're going to try to get to the facts.
Some say targeting incapacitated survivors after the initial strike could be a war crime.
You don't do that. Everybody knows that. You know, that is against the Geneva Conventions.
On Sunday, President Trump was asked about a second strike aimed at killing survivors.
Number one, I don't know that happened. But no, I wouldn't have wanted that, not a second strike.
Hegseth now placing responsibility for the second strike on Admiral Bradley, posting, "He has my 100% support. I stand by him and the combat decisions he has made." Meanwhile, President Trump held an Oval Office meeting Monday with his team, including Hegseth, to discuss Venezuela. Also meeting with the president yesterday, Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem, who posted afterwards that she was recommending a new domestic policy. A, quote, full travel ban on every damn country that's been flooding our nation with killers, leeches, and entitlement junkies.
A former president of Honduras is a free man. President Trump pardoned Juan Orlando Hernandez less than a year after he was convicted helping drug traffickers flood the U.S. with cocaine. Hernandez had been sentenced 70 to 75 years. His release from a West Virginia prison came days after a presidential election in Honduras.
5 people are being treated for injuries after buildings caught fire in New Hampshire. That first fire began around 6:30 this morning, and video shows right here very clearly the numerous firefighters that are battling heavy flames and the smoke billowing from these buildings. But it's unclear what caused this fire to begin with. Meanwhile, in Colorado, teams prevented a vehicle fire from spreading to a home. A hybrid EV caught fire in the garage of a home, and the firefighters pulled the vehicle from the garage, and then they had to use a special blanket to contain the flames. That's because water is not effective on fires in lithium-ion batteries. If it mixes with chemicals in the battery, well, the smoke could become deadly. The person who was inside was able to escape that home unharmed.
From one extreme to another, portions of Lake Superior were left frozen as frigid temperatures swept across the area this week. Video captured in northern Wisconsin shows the water as it sits frozen and the cracking of the ice can be heard. Holiday Express opens today at Pullen Park in Raleigh, a wonderland of fun activities for families. There are lots of Christmas decorations, crafts, holiday lights, and visits from Santa and Mrs. Claus as well. The train is running too. Holiday Express runs every night through December 18th from 5 until 9:30 p.m. It is a ticketed event. WRAL is a proud sponsor of the event.
Increase the burn. What to consider if you're thinking about using a weighted vest during your exercise routine.
And have sleep problems? Try Tai Chi, the improvement insomniacs experienced after they tried it. Download the new WRAL weather app and plan ahead for severe weather anytime. Turn on alerts to get notified about severe weather in your location. It is free wherever you download your apps. You're looking live at Rocky Mount Mills. That tower is waiting to be lit. That will happen tomorrow, along with our other two towers in Durham and here in Raleigh. And the weather will be fine just for that. You're watching WRAL News, available on YouTube TV and the WRAL app on your TV or streaming device.
So you've probably heard claims about how weighted vests can improve your health. Well, there are a few things you should know before you add it to your exercise regimen. Exercising with a weighted vest, it can increase exercise intensity and build bone and muscle density. But improper use can lead to injuries in the back, the knees, or even the hips. That's why sports medicine specialists say it's important to start with a low weight and then slowly transition to a heavier weight.
Try not to get too overzealous. My thing is be consistent before you're heroic, because again, we all know how that works. Everyone gets excited and they want to just go add more weight, add more distance, add more speed, and too fast. And then, things start breaking down and then we can't do the things that we enjoy.
Take this from your friendly neighborhood anchor. Talk to your doctor first. I did not. I wish I did. To ensure a safe and effective weighted vest routine, consult a physician, again, especially if you have pre-existing conditions, my knees. Choose a vest that fits snug to prevent strain and gradually increase weight and distance as your body adapts. Oh, and stay hydrated. Be mindful that increased effort can also increase potential for sweat loss. And then finally, listen to your body. Stop immediately if you feel any sharp or persistent pain.
If you are having trouble sleeping, you might consider giving Tai Chi a try. The traditional Chinese mind-body exercise uses slow flowing movements, deep breathing, and focused attention. Researchers in Hong Kong studied hundreds of people with chronic insomnia. After 15 months, participants who performed Tai Chi regularly had fewer problems falling asleep. Others say it helped improve their sleep quality, and it also can reduce the amount of time it takes to fall asleep. An iconic department store in Paris has a unique way to get you in the door and onto the roof. Galeries Lafayette Paris Haussmann opened an ice rink with a view up on its rooftop overlooking the Opera House and the Eiffel Tower. The store says its synthetic surface resembles hard plastic and is more environmentally friendly. The rink measures 176 square meters. It is open through January 4th. In case you're wondering, that is roughly 2/3 the size of a standard tennis court. You can't beat that view.
Miracle on 34th Street in Maryland. How a community bands together to spread holiday cheer every year.
Edgy or perplexing? Why some say this logo missed the mark.
Homeless for the holidays. Year after year, Wake County leaders call it a crisis, and each year it gets worse. We're talking about the number of foster children who are having to live for some amount of time inside a Wake County office building. The number has topped 100 children this year, and it is still rising.
I went into child welfare to help children, and seeing kids living in a building is not what I imagined when I started my career a long time ago. Kids grow best in families.
So tonight at 6, WRAL investigates what's behind the crisis and shares how many months one child was living in the office.
A community in Maryland is carrying on a holiday tradition. Homeowners on West 34th Street in Baltimore flipped the switch on this amazing holiday light display. Generations have been enjoying this display for nearly 80 years. The owner of the Hanukkah house joined 8 years ago to keep the holiday tradition going. We're getting into the holiday spirit with our annual tower lighting. This is the 67th year we've lit our television tower here on Western Boulevard in Raleigh with the colors of the season. Our WRAL tower lighting special is on tomorrow at 7 p.m. We will also light towers and have live entertainment at Rocky Mount Mills and at the American Tobacco Campus in Durham.
And then after the WRAL tower lighting, make sure you stay tuned for Christmas at Rockefeller Center. This year's event is hosted by country star Reba McEntire, and it features numerous musical guests leading up to the lighting of the center's Christmas tree. The Queen of Country will be joined by today's Savannah Guthrie, Hoda Kotb, Al Roker, and Craig Melvin. McEntire says that she is flattered to host this event.
I'm really excited about getting to host it. I've seen Kelly Clarkson, my buddy, get to do it several times, other folks, and so to get to do it and to sing, I'm thrilled.
I love Reba. She's great. An array of stars will join McEntire singing songs of the season, including Michael Bublé, Halle Bailey, and New Edition.
What a great gig, and she will be fabulous at it, especially if she gets to sing, too. That'll be fun.
All right, swinging over to our weather forecast today. We're still talking about why today is a weather alert day, Elizabeth, but the good news is that rain's starting to push out.
It is. Behind you guys, it looks terrible. We're still looking at really a lot of water out there in some places, but big changes since we began the newscast just 45 minutes ago. We were mostly covered with green, and now it's mostly moved off to the east. But what I mentioned at the beginning of the newscast is it's probably going to be drizzly for a while. And so expect that we may, continue to see some scattered light rain, but some patchy drizzle too. Up around Roanoke Rapids, we're seeing a little bit of light rain in Wilson. But again, a lot of this has really started to move right on out of here. How much rain have we seen so far in the purple shaded area, which stretches from Edgecombe County down towards, say, Fayetteville, around Cumberland County, around 1.5 inches. That's pretty much what we were expecting to see. And then north and west, the farther north and west you go, the lighter it's been. So parts of, say, Orange County and up toward Person County, around 1/2 inch, but Granville County at 1 inch, Sanford almost 1 inch in the Triangle, and off to the north and east, it's been around 1 inch. And boy, we needed it, didn't we? Here's a live look at Fenton and Cary, and just some drizzle out there right now. Not a beautiful day yet to be outside, but tomorrow should be just fine. We're going to start tomorrow with some chilly temperatures, but we will end up with some pleasant conditions as we get through the into the afternoon and we warm things up just a little bit. We're going to continue to see our rain sliding right on out of here. And we take a look earlier this morning. We had a wintry mix in the mountains, and that winter weather advisory has expired. But still, up to the north and east, you can see that potential as you look on up toward New York. Of course, we're watching the rain start to taper off at this point. Wednesday and Thursday look nice and dry. But Friday into Saturday, we'll have the potential for some rain. And the temperatures will be cold as we get into this next round of rain. So Chris was talking about this earlier. We have several different moving parts that all have to come together just right. And this is always the way it is for snow for us. Typically, if a system stays a little farther south, we get into some of that colder air and it comes farther to the south. If the whole system moves farther north, we'll end up with rain. So yet to be determined. Some of the models are saying, hey, yeah, we might see a little snow in our northern counties, and others are saying, nope, this looks like it's all going to be rain. So still a lot of question marks on this one. Let's take a look here at 7:45 a.m. on Friday. This version of Futurecast is a little bit more aggressive on the potential for some scattered snow showers. Most of this is still going to be Raleigh northward. There's 1 o'clock in the afternoon. It changes over to a bit of a wintry mix and then starts to pull out. Saturday, we may still have a little bit of patchy rain in the morning, and then right now it looks like the rest of that should move on out. Our chance of 1 inch of snow, anywhere from, say, 10 to 20%. And again, I wouldn't get too excited about that. That is not a huge chance. Today remains a WRAL weather alert day. We should continue to dry out as we get closer to the evening commute. Temperatures are going to be chilly. Tomorrow morning, 29. Thursday morning, 32. So we're going to be pulling out those winter coats and keeping them around for a while.
The puffy coat is getting a workout.
Oh, yeah.
All right, thanks, Elizabeth. Branding is everything, especially when it comes to the Olympics. But not everything is black and white. the inspirations behind the logo for the Utah games.
Here's a look at your winning Powerball numbers. We have 5, 18, 26, 47, 59. The Powerball is 1, and the multiplier is 3. As we wrap things up, here's a look at a few of the headlines we're following today. New this afternoon, the Raleigh fire chief says the fire at the convention center caused $2 million in damage on the roof alone. 61 firefighters were able to get the flames under control in 25 minutes last night. The chief says it was fueled by a natural gas line feed from an HVAC system on a platform. We are working to learn if the fire will have any impact on upcoming events, but he did say there is no interior damage at the convention center.
The man charged with manslaughter in the shooting death of a 12-year-old will be in court this afternoon. Clayton police say 20-year-old Tyron Washington had a gun in his hand when it fired, hitting and killing 12-year-old Kyrell Stewart. This happened at an apartment complex on Friday. That's where police say there was a gathering of people, and Washington is expected to be in court at 2 o'clock this afternoon.
Goldsboro police are asking for information about the disappearance of a 21-year-old man who has not been seen in almost a month. Treson McNeil was last seen on November 9th on Sherrard Court. Police say this is a high-risk situation, and they believe foul play is involved. A hotline has been set up to collect information on this case.
Rapper Megan Thee Stallion is celebrating a victory in her defamation case against a Miami blogger. The entertainer, whose legal name is Megan Pete, sued blogger Milagro Cooper. Pete alleged that Cooper was hired as a paid surrogate by rapper Tory Lanez to spread lies about her and spread a sexually explicit deepfake video of her. Well, the jury awarded Pete $75,000, but the judge reduced that amount to about $59,000.
The newly unveiled Utah 2034 Olympic logo is being met with some criticism. The artist who designed it is asking people to give it time and learn what the logo actually represents. The cheers were loud at the unveiling, but a different story online. Some writing beyond terrible and it hurts. But the creator points to the inspiration behind the creation. The A in Utah is shaped for delicate arch, a freestanding arch in Utah. The curve inside the zero comes from petroglyphic designs. Even the bend in the 4 inspired by a bend in a mountain road.
What people initially think. And what we have found is that the more you know about the meaning of the design, the more you connect with it.
This also isn't the final Utah 2034 logo because Los Angeles 2028 controls all U.S. Olympic branding until their games wrap up. So Utah can only use a temporary logo right now. In 2029, we'll see another version that will include color and perhaps a different look. But a lot of layers of symbolism there. Here's the thing. If it requires all that explanation, might not be that effective.
It's also not food, so like I said, just give it a little time for the taste.
It's jarring to the eyes, the formations. I don't know.
But
they got time to work on it.
But maybe back to the drawing board on that one.
Well, assessing the damage, the future of the Raleigh Convention Center after a fire tore through the roof overnight. We will have team coverage starting this afternoon on WRAL News at 4.
And just a reminder, NBC News Daily is next on WRAL with your next local news update in about 30 minutes.
You can get breaking news updates anytime with our WRAL News app. The rain will start to move on out. We hope you make it a great day.
Stay safe with the latest WRAL Weather Alert Day info. Get up to the minute weather and traffic conditions when you get in your car. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM, in Durham 96.5 FM, and everywhere on 101.5 HD3.